Murray Collins, CEO of Space Intelligence.
And I'm Ed Mitchard, CTO of Space Intelligence.
Around the world, companies and governments are investing in what's broadly called nature-based solutions to climate change. So what this means in practice is investing in peatland restoration, forest conservation and forest regrowth to store large amounts of carbon and tackle the climate crisis. However, all of these projects require large amounts of information about the original conditions of the site, the historical condition of the site, and then being able to monitor the conditions of the site over time to address project success. The problem is that going out onto the ground in very remote areas is very labour intensive and very expensive. So the only real practical way to assess these projects is to use large volumes of satellite data. And that's where Space Intelligence comes in. We're specialists in analysing these huge amounts of satellite data to provide timely, accurate maps of environmental conditions around the world. Now, to be able to do this, you need a world-class team of scientists. And fortunately, we have a world-class scientist as our Chief Technical Officer, who's going to give us a few words about specifically how we provide these services.
Thank you, Murray. So there's a deluge of satellite data coming in every day at the moment. We have hundreds of satellites collecting free data. We're not using these data sets very well. Murray and I have spent the last decade or more developing methods to use these data sets better to address the nature-based solution projects that Murray mentioned. We, over the last 2.5 years, started this company and we built up a team of 7 people and a technology stack that can deal with this satellite data and produce useful outputs. In particular, we combine satellite data sets of different types, so radar data and optical data and LiDAR data, with our knowledge of what the land cover types are like in order to assess the carbon stored in vegetation and the different vegetation types. For example, we've done a recent project with Scottish Government where we've mapped the habitats of Scotland into 22 different types. Previous land cover maps only had 5 or so types. We can differentiate different types of forest or different types of bog. We also have projects where we're looking at the condition of peat. And it's this type of intelligence that our clients need to be able to target their interventions, that is, choose which areas to protect or restore, and to monitor the success of those projects. We can do that with data that comes every day or every week, compared to the previous way of doing things where you might have to send a field team every few years in order to see how things are doing.
So it's been a really, really exciting past 2.5 years since founding the company. However, it's really picked up in the past year and we're now looking to a future where we're taking on more clients, both from the public and private sector around the world. And our aspiration is really to deliver an impact on net zero. So we're hoping that our information can support those NBS projects around the world and together we can address the climate crisis.
I'm Yvonne Walker, Business Operations Manager from Recycle8. If cement were a country, it'd be the 3rd largest emitter of CO2, just behind the USA and China. We have to stop this. Climate change is still one of the world's greatest challenges. The cement industry knows they need to change. And cement manufacturers have committed to the Paris Agreement and set themselves a target to reduce CO2 emissions by 35% by 2030. That sounds good, doesn't it? But a lot of this is by offsetting, planting trees and using different fuels. But we aren't going to do that. We've got a process which is truly sustainable and addresses the issue at source. How are we going to do this? Well, in 2025, most landfill will be banned in Scotland and the majority of our waste will be incinerated. But incineration still brings a problem because it produces ash and the ash needs to go to landfill. But we're not going to send the ash to landfill. We're going to turn it into a useful, sustainable product. Our process takes incinerator ash and turns it into a low carbon base product for concrete, replacing 60% of the cement in the concrete mix and drastically reducing CO2. We have a patent application which has been fast-tracked due to its strong environmental credentials. Ian, our founder, is an expert in waste management and he's often called upon by the Scottish Government as a subject matter expert. He's the founder of a local waste management facility and realised there was still a problem with excess ash, leading him to coming up with this smart way of dealing with it. We've got a robust business plan. We're going to initially process 200,000 tonnes of ash per annum. But in Scotland alone, there is an estimated 800,000 tonnes produced. So this leaves us with the opportunity to expand, then license our process to the rest of the UK, Europe and internationally. It's going to be great for our economy. It's going to create jobs, and it's going to help put Scotland on the map as a world leader in reducing CO2 in concrete. Our first year sees us product testing and setting up base. Right now, we are undergoing a testing protocol with the Buildings Research Establishment. In our second year, we start receiving ash from incinerator operators. Our finance model is cash positive. We receive money from waste management facilities, money for extracting metal from ash, and money for our end product. Last year, we were really fortunate to have won a Scottish Wildcard Edge Award. We also have supporters from Elevator, Scottish Enterprise, Business Gateway, the Scottish Concrete Society, and some credible academic and industry mentors who all believe in the Recyclate team and our product. We are just coming through one of the toughest times. Enforced lockdowns have had a really positive impact on the environment, more than any war, recession or previous pandemic. So let's try and carry this on and let Recyclate play our part in helping turn cement into the smallest country in the world of emitters, the Vatican City.
I'm Alex Schlicke and I'm the Managing Director of Scene Connect Limited. Has anyone watching ever thought about buying an electric car or maybe installing a heat pump? I'm guessing so, and imagine some of you already have. What you may not know is that if you want to install a charge point for that EV or to connect up that heat pump, your local electricity network operator needs to be notified. And if a network upgrade is required, you might need to pay towards it. Even if you already have an EV or a heat pump, this might still be news to you because the likelihood is that your installer did it for you and there were no additional costs or lengthy delays because you got in early. It's not going to take long before the electrification of heat and transport is going to start to cause big problems for the networks and require costly upgrades because the additional load from an EV is roughly equivalent to adding one more home into your neighbourhood, and adding a heat pump is like adding another home. Given that your typical secondary substation feeds between 60 and 100 houses, that means over 500,000 secondary substations across the country will need upgrading, not to mention the thousands of primary substations, transformers, cabling and so on. To allow the multi-billion pound investment required in the networks to be phased over the next 30 years, rather than becoming a barrier to the net zero transition, we need some way of making sure that these low carbon technologies are not used all at the same time. Every EV has a battery, which if you charge when the grid is greener, supports the transition to even more renewables and even lower carbon emissions. And every well-insulated home with a heat pump can be thought of as a battery too, which can be charged and discharged or allowed to heat and cool in normal language. Provided that EV has enough range for when you want to go somewhere next time you head out, and providing your rooms are not too hot or too cold, these low carbon technologies, which have the potential to cause so much stress to the system, also provide the flexibility to allow it to run smoothly. And that's where our Zoos Energy Services platform comes in. We allow you to be greener and not even notice. The net zero energy system of the future needs sophisticated predictive technology, real-time monitoring and communications, and granular control. You don't want to have to deal with all that. You just want a warm home and electronic devices that work when you want them to. The solution is automation. The Zoos platform can provide intelligent control down to the device level. The platform has a simple interface which allows interoperability so that on-off and where appropriate, more refined signalling control can be sent out by the Zuos platform, and data can be received in real time to optimize the local energy system. This is supplemented by machine learning algorithms to help map out and predict the pattern of demand, and weather forecasting tools to assist with day-ahead demand and generation modelling. For the consumer, this interface gives you the ability to control the heating in your home and the charging of your car from your smartphone. And yes, there are other cutting-edge platforms on the market which can do that with specific manufacturers or with specific energy suppliers. But because Zuos is technology, manufacturer and supplier agnostic, we can focus on optimizing the energy system at the community level, and it is this that makes Zuos unique. By focusing locally, Zuos is providing flexibility control for a democratized energy system. While the individual consumer gets cheaper, greener energy with more control, the platform operator, whether that's a local community energy group, a housing association, or a local authority, has the tools to provide visibility and control to allow more renewables, low carbon heating, and EV charging to be installed within each community. Our team is a collaboration of 3 Scottish-based SMEs, all focused on the community energy sector. The consortium is led by Scene Connect, a social enterprise which invests a share of its profits in community energy projects, and with a successful track record of delivering innovation projects and commercialising the products and services in commercial spin-outs. Scene and the development of Zuos are led by myself, Alex Schlicke. Since 2018, we've secured over £1 million in innovation funding, and over the next 9 months we'll be trialling the technology at 2 pilot demonstrations in Scotland, with the community in Huntly and with the local authority in Perth, providing proof of concept. Zuos supports a just transition by providing the technology for local control and local ownership of the future energy system we need to reach net zero. Thank you.
If you're a business who's looking to adapt and develop its products and services in order to help you become more resilient, to become more sustainable, or to grow your business, then Scottish Enterprise can help you to do that. We can provide you with one-to-one support from our team of specialist advisors who have years of experience of working with companies and have significant expertise in areas that can really help you to innovate across your business. They have expertise in digital transformation in ICT, in intellectual property, in manufacturing processes, in product and service innovation, in sustainable development, workplace innovation, and across the whole business strategy process, helping you to be able to put whatever changes you want to make to your business into that wider business context in order that you can be able to execute and commercialise on those ideas or changes that you want to put into your business. We can also help you to make connections to other parts of the support system in Scotland, in the UK and further beyond. We also have great connections into other companies that could potentially become your suppliers or become your customers, and we can help you connect into that across Scotland. We can also help with funding. We can help not just for you to be able to access the grant, the loan and the equity finance that's available from within Scottish Enterprise, but funding that's available from other organisations as well. We can help you to be really ready to be able to access the finance that you need. If you want to do any of those things, if you think SE can help you with anything that I've said, either get in touch with us through se.com, go on there and fill in the information, or pick up the phone and give us a ring. It's really simple to get in touch with us, and we'd really like to support you and your business to innovate.